morning, and thank you for joining us today as our school pays tribute to those who have served in the military and sacrificed their lives for our country. My name is Zach Parker, and this is Lily Mayo.
Memorial Day, originally called Decoration Day, is a day of remembrance for those who have died in our nation's service. It was first observed on May 30th, 1868, when flowers were placed on the graves of Union and Confederate soldiers at Arlington National Cemetery.
Memorial Day was officially proclaimed on May 5th, 1868, by order of General John A. Logan, Commander-in-Chief of the Grand Army of the Republic.
General Logan said the 30th day of May, 1868, is designated for the purpose of strewing with flowers or otherwise decorating the graves of comrades who died in defense of their country. What can aid more to assure this resolve than cherishing tenderly the memory of our heroic dead, who made themselves a barricade between our country and its foes?
We should guard their graves with sacred vigilance, let pleasant paths invite the coming and going of reverent visitors and fond mourners. Let no vandalism or neglect, no ravages of time testify that we have forgotten as a people the cost of a free and undivided republic.
Let us then raise above them dear old flag they saved from dishonor. Let us renew our pledges to aid and assist those they have left among us with a scared charge upon a nation's gratitude, the soldiers and sailors, widow and orphan.
It is the purpose of the Commander-in-Chief that it will be kept from year to year, while a survivor of the war remains to honor the memory of his departed comrades. Department commanders will use efforts to make this order effective. By order of General John A. Logan, Commander-in-Chief.
Please stand as fourth graders Ella Morrison, Braden Courier, Cooper Oden, and Mila Pinardi lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. This will be followed by our chorus singing the national anthem. Please stay standing and be silent as they sing.
The Gettysburg Address is a speech written by President Abraham Lincoln and is one of the most well-known speeches in United States history. Lincoln delivered this speech during the American Civil War at the dedication of the Soldiers' National Cemetery in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
Only 2 minutes long, these impactful words are carved into the wall of Lincoln's Memorial in Washington, D.C., where it is read daily by thousands of visitors. Please listen carefully as Olivia Badger and Ashton Dill recite the Gettysburg Address today.
Gettysburg Address by Abraham Lincoln. 407 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation. conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are men on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives, that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract.
The world will little know nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they here gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
Next, our baritone choruses will sing Vermont's state song, These Green Mountains, followed by a patriotic salute, and This Land Is Your Land. The chorus will be accompanied by Charlene Helman on piano and Cam Simpson on trumpet.
These green hills and silver waters are my home. They belong to me and to all your sons and daughters.
Next, we will hear a reading of the poem In Flanders Field by Lieutenant Colonel John McRae. He was inspired to write this poem on May 3rd, 1915, after leading the funeral of a friend and fellow soldier.
The reference to red poppies that grew over the graves of fallen soldiers resulted in the poppy becoming one of the world's most recognized memorial symbols for soldiers who have died in a conflict. Please listen carefully as Ashton Dill recites In Flanders Fields.
In Flanders Fields by John McRae. In Flanders Fields, the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks still gravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below, we are the dead. Short days ago, we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high, if ye break faith with us who die. We shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders Fields.
The 7th grade band will now play America the Beautiful. Then the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade bands will play Chester, My Country 'Tis of Thee, and American March.
have a moment of silence to remember the servicemen who have sacrificed their lives for our country.
For the final part of our ceremony, Cam Simpson from Spalding High School will play taps. This haunting and expressive melody is sounded at military funerals, wreath-laying ceremonies, and memorial services.
Today, taps is sounded as the final call of every evening at military installations and at military funerals. In 2012, Congress recognized taps as the national song of remembrance.
Please stand and listen silently.
Thank you. Ms. Nile will now share some closing remarks and give you instructions for dismissal back to class.
At this time, we would like to thank our chorus accompanist, Charlene Helman, and our very own Berrytown alumni, Camden Simpson, for playing the trumpet for today's performance. As we close our Memorial Day observance, I would ask you to remember the soldiers, support the families, never forget the missing, and rejoice in their lives. Let this day be a beginning to serve our lives with joy and enthusiasm. Memorial Day marks the start of summer by reflecting on the meaning of this special and important day, and to be mindful of the sacrifices others have made before you go and enjoy the freedoms that they fought for us. This concludes our 2022 Memorial Day observance at Berrytown School.